Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name's Claire Oldham West and I'm glad to have you here. Please consider hitting subscribe wherever the buttons are, and I hope you're going to enjoy this content. So today's content is all going to be around Mounjaro, going on an all-inclusive holiday, how I felt on that holiday, how my cravings were, how my appetite was, and going away in a smaller body, feeling really confident actually, knowing that I could wear that bikini that I wanted to wear. And unlike 2023 when I went away, forgetting that I'd not actually got a bikini to wear because I'd lost the bottoms, so I had to buy one in Greece, which was just awful. So at the point that I went on holiday, just give you like a bit of an update of where I'm at. When I started this year in 2025, I weighed out at the Slimming World at 15 stone, 3.5 pounds. I lost a bit of weight on Slimming World, and at the point that I went onto the Mounjaro plan, I weighed in at 14 stone, 3/4. Now, at the point that I went away on holiday, before I went away, I weighed in on the 22nd of June at 12 stone 13. So I was going away in a smaller body. It felt amazing to be back in the 12 stone bracket. I really couldn't believe it, to be honest. And I bought these bikinis from Next, and because of kind of like the time delay, because Next don't like a curvy body often, the boob size are often like your A's or your B cup. So I ordered my bikinis online in a short space of time, and I thought I'm just going to order 2 sizes of the bottoms just in case, one doesn't fit. So I ordered the tops, and I think it was like a 38 double D, something like that. And then the bottoms, I ordered a 16 and 18, and I had to send the 18s back, unfortunately. I was so pleased. I was like, oh my God, I can't believe that I'm in a size 16 bottom. That was so amazing for me to hear that and see it actually. So I was over the moon to be going away, feeling really good. I went shopping for my clothes for the holiday. And not only did I do that, I also looked at the clothes that I'd already got from years ago that I was able to then get into. That was just trying on those clothes, seeing that they fit and feeling good about it, felt great. So when I weighed in on the 22nd of June, I was 12 stone 13. And then I went to Tunisia, absolutely beautiful. Honestly, if you've not been, the people are so friendly. I had the best time, just relaxing. The food was fantastic. And they were so friendly. I couldn't believe how friendly they were. And even though it wasn't a 5-star hotel, it was a 4-star, the service was next level. And now I've taken lots of photographs. So if you're new to me, I'm Claire. I take photographs by the dozen. I think 360 photographs I managed to take on holiday. And I'm going to share some of the photos with you, some of the delights I enjoyed while I was on holiday. And again, if you're brand new to me, if you're new to me because you're following me on YouTube, I'm a hypnotherapist. I've got a podcast, and on the podcast I talk a lot about how I've not eaten chocolate, cakes or sweets. I've had help with cravings. So when I went away, I knew that seeing the chocolate, being around chocolate, the cakes, the sweets would not be an issue. When I've gone away on an all-inclusive before, often for me it's the butter, it's a bread, and while I don't binge on it as such, I do have it at most meals. It's almost like a habit to have bread and butter when I'm away, because often it's obviously fresh, it's there for the taking, and I will often just fill up on that. So I was kind of conscientious when I went away not to do that. I thought, what I'm going to do, I'm going to focus on a protein breakfast. And then often as well, when you're abroad, it's really hot. You don't want the food, do you? Because you're so hot anyway. So that was kind of the change that I wanted to make, to start with more of a protein breakfast. So you'll see in the links that I'm going to share that I enjoyed lots of melon, and melon came dressed as a mouse. They decorated it as a swan. They just cut it up and laid it out beautifully. You name it, it was there. So the melon, because it's not dry frozen, it was beautiful. So most mornings I was having some melon, and then I would have 2 boiled eggs, or I would have whatever I felt like having on that day. Some mornings I sat there and just ate my melon. I wasn't like over forced in terms of like filling up on some food. some mornings I did have the bread and the butter. I had a bit of ham, but I didn't have that like every morning. I made sure that I wasn't doing that because it can make you bloated, and if you're like me, when you go away, you need to make sure that you're going to the loo. So I was like, I'm not going to stuff myself up with bread, so that's what I did. Now my husband and my son was having the desserts in terms of the pancake that was filled with chocolate. And yeah, I mean, just look at that. I've never been away where they've had the chocolate in a bowl with chocolate being melted to go on a pancake. Usually it's like a Nutella spread or, you know, some sort of thing like that. But they'd actually got the whole chocolate bars in there that were melting to then serve with the pancake. And I had no desire to eat that. So they ate all of those. And also I wanted to maintain that feeling of not feeling like really bloated. So I wouldn't say that I like restricted myself. In fact, before I went away, I had, let's have a look. I thought I'd made a note of when I jabbed. Have I made a note of when I've jabbed? So from memory, I actually jabbed a week before I went away. So I went away on where are the dates, Claire? Come on, you've written it all down. So I actually went away on 27th of June. I came back on the 6th of July. So I normally jab on a Wednesday, and I normally weigh in on a Sunday. So when I jabbed, I didn't jab the Wednesday before I went. I jabbed the Wednesday before that date, and I kind of thought in my head that I don't want to go away, have massive appetite suppression and not join in with the family and the food. I don't want to have a situation where, like, you know, I don't want any lunch, or not feeling that there's anything there that appealed to me, or whatever. And I just thought I don't want that. So when I went away, I'd not jabbed for 9 days, not jabbed for 9 days, and that's what I chose to do. When I went away, I still felt appetite suppression, not massively, but I felt that I could leave things. I didn't feel like I was pressured into having whatever was on my plate, and that felt good. Some days I would have 2 plates of what I fancied to eat at that time. Not massive plates, but 2 plates. Like one day, this guy, and I've posted this on social media actually made handmade pizza. It was probably one of the best pizzas I've ever had. It was just absolutely next level. And I shared that with my husband, with my son. I think I had like 1 or 2 pieces of that pizza, and that's all I felt like I needed. And that felt great. It felt really good, and I was enjoying the clothes that I was wearing, enjoying the food that I was wearing. So, so I promised myself that I would not edit this because it just takes too long. That's why I clap, because in the podcast, if you do that, it spikes and then you can go and find it easily. But I've promised myself I'm not going to edit this. So, not the food that I was wearing. Now that would be an interesting look. So what I did was I felt I was having the nice food. I was having the clothes that I wanted to wear. I went to the gym. Can't believe the first time I've ever gone to gym in my life on an all-inclusive, but that's what happened. I went to the gym because it was so hot. It was like about 35 degrees most days. This one morning was just, there was no breeze. I was like, I can't sit in it. So I went to the gym, and that was aircon. So that's what I did. I went to the gym, and that was lovely. And yeah, I managed to get some steps in to do some of the cross trainer in the gym, and that felt unusual. But I also felt that in that moment, I need to look at doing things differently. Now, interestingly, when I went on holiday and went to the hotel, I noticed that there was quite a lot of steps around the hotel, and my left knee had been hurting. But in fairness, because of the chaos around the time before I went on holiday, because of my dad's ill health, I'd got into the pattern of working in this office and then not really going for my walks, meeting up with my friends, doing little bits at the gym. I would say not a lot, but I'd totally, everything kind of stopped. So when I went away, I'd not really been that active. So I saw these steps, and every time I went to go up a step, I could feel it in my left knee. I was like, oh, this is going to be great, because it was like the steps that I had to go up to like the landing of where we was, and then go down the steps and then get to our room, and then obviously back up again and back down for all the times that I needed to go to reception, then to the restaurants, and there seemed to be steps everywhere. And I was like, well, this is going to be interesting. By the end of the holiday, the pain in my left knee was very minimal, and some days I didn't feel it. I was walking more, I was more active. And I think that was like the push to go to the gym. Actually, I was thinking, what are you doing to yourself, Claire? You've been in a difficult situation around your dad's dementia and all the emotions. It's been a really difficult time. It still is, and you've not prioritised your own health. This isn't what my dad. This is what my dad would want for me. Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I getting into that routine of just neglecting my health? So when I took myself to the gym, I thought, well, you need to get into this again. This is for you, not just for your physical body, but for your mental as well, your mental health, just to get you in that moment where you can just be free of whatever's gone off in that day and just shed it. So that's what I did. And I keep looking down because I'm trying to make sure. I'm going to have a cup of tea. I'm sipping my tea, 1 second. I'm trying to make sure that I'm kind of putting everything in that I need to for this journey on Mounjaro. So I've looked at where I'm at now and what I want going forward. So when I came back off holiday, I weighed in on the 6th of July at 12 stone 11 3/4, which is just, it was crazy. Now, I've been away before to all-inclusive, and because, like I said, I've not eaten the chocolate and all the crap since 2021. I've not had a binge since 2021 on chocolates, cakes and sweets. So I've been away to an all-inclusive before, and I've put like a pound on, 1.5, 2 pounds. I've not had the big gains I would normally get with an all-inclusive like before in the past, when I was a full-on binge eater and I would binge on chocolates, cakes and sweets, and that was my go-to. Back then it would have been like, oh, all-inclusive, that's like a ticket to like eat everything in sight, and I was having like donuts for breakfast and all of that stuff. So that hasn't happened since 2021, but I have been away and I've had gains. And when I've had that gain, because it's been like around 2.5 pound or less, I've not really thought about it. In my mind, I was quite happy to go away, know that I'm going to a very hot country, come back and kind of not really bothered to wait for a week, because I was thinking, well, I'm going to retain water because it's so hot. I did make a conscious effort to drink a lot more. I mean, you've got to in that heat, haven't you? But that's what I did. And when I got on the scales, I mean, this was a day after, and we had a late flight. So we came back like the early hours of the 6th of July. So when I got on the scales, seeing that 12, 11 3/4, I was like, oh my goodness, how? How? But, wonderful as well. I was so pleased. And if you're on this journey and you've had the same experience, no doubt you're like, whew, wonderful. Because is that your experience of going on all-inclusive, that this is just a ticket to eat what the hell is there, because it's like, I've paid for it, it's there, I'm having it. I know that I used to be like that. But knowing that I was back, knowing that I'd had nice food, but I'd not gone overboard. I mean, there were some days that I'd had melon for breakfast, and I sat there, I had the melon, I had either water or a coffee, and I thought, you know what, I'm full, I'm fine. I didn't need anything else, and I didn't have anything else. There were some days where for lunch, I would have melon for lunch, because I didn't feel that I was like starving hungry. And then there were days I would have 2 plates of food, but not overload the plates. I just had the food that I felt satisfied my appetite. And that's what happened when I came back. So when I came back, probably a bit too much information, but when I came back, I'd got a UTI and I had some antibiotics, and then I had three lots of those and 3 days worth of those, and then it didn't really work, so they gave me another course for another week. So I chose not to have another injection straight after, because I thought, I've already got pain in my stomach. I want to make sure that's not anything to do with the jab or anything like that. And also, you need to be in I think a common sense place when you're ill. I wanted to be aware of all the sensations in my body, and I chose not to jab. So I suppose a consequence of that was I was more aware of my hunger signals. That did increase. However, I was mindful about that, and I was making sure that I was filling up more on the protein. Before, where I would, right, let's get the pasta in. Let's get some pasta in because I'm hungry, I'm starving. Now it's protein first, then I look at the veg, and then I look at the pasta or the carb. I'm very mindful of the protein. Again, you know, I'm 50 this year. I want to make sure that I'm doing what I need to do for my body. So after the holiday, the first time I jabbed was actually on the 16th of July. The UTI was gone. That's when I jabbed. And I would say the suppression at that point with the 7.5, it's not huge. It's not like how it was when, for example, I went from like 2.5 to 5, which seemed to be ridiculously high. It's not, but it was good. I was feeling that, and that's where I'm at now. We're now on the so organised. Is it 22nd? Just have a quick look at my diary. 1 second. So I'm on the June one. That's not good, is it? 1 second. Sure. 22nd. It is the 22nd. Right, so we're now on the 22nd of July. Now, I'm very blessed. I'm actually going away to Lanzarote next week with friends on the Friday, the 31st. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to jab tonight. No, sorry, tomorrow on Wednesday. Get it right. I'm going to jab Wednesday. And then I'll decide if I'm going to jab the Wednesday before I go away. I think it's likely that I'm not going to do that, but we shall see. We'll see how I feel, and I'll just kind of trust my gut feeling with it and go with that. I would say that going away, at the point that I went away, going down from like the beginning of the year of being 15 stone 3 to 12 stone 13, was the difference in not feeling so bloated. I've got an apple shape. I'm curvy at the front. My belly, I've always got a belly, always got the boobs. My belly can sometimes look very bloated. Even if I'm not bloated, it just looks like it. In fact, I've taken some photographs, and I will share them at some point when I'm feeling brave. And I did an ironic pose, which basically, can you remember the Demi Moore pose back in the 90s when she was pregnant? Because I did look pregnant. I wasn't pregnant, but I did, because my belly was so large. So the difference of going on holiday on this all-inclusive was I could wear clothes. I mean, the skirt that I've got on now, it's elasticated waist skirt. I mean, I would never wear anything like that. It's not like a tight gathered elasticated one. But it allowed me to wear that. I knew it was going to be baking hot. I'm really fit. As you can see, it doesn't look like I've got a big tan. And that's because I was mainly in the shade. So I wanted to wear clothes that was comfortable. And another massive thing, massive non-scale victory, in fact, I took a photograph of my feet, is that my feet did not swell up. I'm literally, I did not expect that, because I thought I've still got some weight to lose. I was expecting them to swell up like they did the last couple of holidays that I've been on, but I had no swelling. I had like zero swelling. That's been a massive shock to me, that I had no swelling, because I expected it, and it was a wonderful surprise to not have swollen feet only after that amount of weight loss. So it shows you that having the weight was obviously having a negative effect on my health, to have swollen ankles, and now I've not got the swollen ankles, and now I've lost that weight. So not as bloated, not nearly as much bloated as I was before, feeling comfortable in my clothes, not having swollen feet. I'm not, and this is going to sound like really weird, like I'm like I'm trying to be really pretentious. I don't sweat easily, I just don't. So I'm not someone that goes abroad and having to like mop the brow all the time, or you know, to get lathered in sweat. But at a larger weight, you do feel hotter, don't you? So that overwhelming feeling of hot and not being able to cool down, I didn't really have that. And the time that I did feel very hot because of the heat, I just took myself out of it. So it felt like I would say like a more comfortable experience. I did take a photograph of me sat on the plane with the seatbelt, and that felt nice, having a lot more room. Now on the way back, because my husband decided not to put us all together, don't know why I decided that, just wanted to save on some money. So on the way back, I was sat next to a gentleman and his wife. So the gentleman was in the middle seat, I was on the aisle seat, and it was a larger gent, a lot larger gent. And I can remember looking out at where his legs were in terms of his knees and the chair in front of him, and thinking that can't be comfortable for him. He looked very, very squashed up, a real, you know, big guy. And I felt for him. Obviously, I'm not there to say, why don't you try this or why don't you try the other? But I felt for him, and then looking down and knowing that I'd got so much more space with that belt for my airplane. Just 1 second, I've got to show my seat belt. Because I can remember the last time I went on a plane, I was never at the point where I needed an extension. But I think there was about that much that I had left before I would have done. And that would have only been a couple of more dress sizes. So at the beginning of the year, I was between, when I say 18 to 20, I lived in leggings. Because I work from home, because I work in this office, working online, often I'll wear leggings, I'll wear elasticated waist, I don't have to go out anywhere. So that's what I would wear. So you might be the same, where you'll think about your size, but if I was to go into a shop at my largest that I was at Christmas and buy a pair of jeans, I wouldn't have been able to buy a size 18 jeans. It would have been like 20 to actually fit. And the reason that I never bought a pair of size 20 jeans is because I just couldn't do it. Whenever I didn't buy that size, it was almost like a denial for me. It wasn't real. If I just didn't buy it, then it wasn't real, and I could kind of avoid that issue. The very thought of buying a size 20 killed me. So much so that I would go into my local town, and there was a shop there where it was like a one size fits all. In fact, I've got this from that. I do really like it though still. And that's what I would do. I'd buy things that are like a one size fits all, because I couldn't mentally accept that I was a size 20. I think the identity that I'd attached to what a size 20 means and how I felt, I just couldn't put the two together. Now, for some people that are losing weight, they'll say that they look in the mirror and they don't really feel confident straight away, or that they know they've lost the weight on scales, but they're not really feeling it, or they're not really seeing it. I think I would say I'm probably the opposite. Because when I went away, I felt really confident. I'd got these bikinis. I wasn't super skinny, super thin, but I felt really good in it. I felt confident. We've always celebrated our curves within our family. So I felt really good. I felt confident. And I've taken some photographs and videos of me in the bikinis, because what I want to do is focus, when I get back from Lanzarote, I want to focus on training back at the gym. I want to focus on how my body will look in a toned body. And where we all know, if we're on a weight loss journey, that the focus has always been around the scales. It's about that number. You know, I'm, I suppose, like a bit like a Slimming World sticker rock. It's always been about getting weighed on the scales, and then you're looking at that number all the time. Sure, they'll say take measurements or try a pair of jeans on and things like that, but the focus is always around the scales, because that's what you do every week. I want to move away from that, because I know in the past that when I focus on the scales, it doesn't always work well for me. And when I got on the scales today, and I'm going to explain the reason why I'm not giving this weight as my weight, I got on the scales today and it read 12 stone, 7.5 pounds. And I looked at that number on the scale, and I just couldn't believe that I was looking at 12 stone, 7.5. I just couldn't believe that. And it's not to say that I'm not that weight. It's just that I think because of the heat and I'm drinking more water now, it might be that the food that I'm eating, or whatever, it might be that I've been eating leaner foods, and it might be in 2 days' time that it goes back 2 pounds. And with all of this noise around getting on the scales, seeing that such a low weight for me, it was like, that's like nearly a 3 stone loss at that weight. I realised today, still today, in this moment, that the scales have got such a power over what I tell myself in my head. Because part of me was thinking, oh my God, I knew I was going to do this YouTube thing today. I'm thinking, oh my God, I'll be able to go and I'll be able to say how I've lost this weight, and now I'm 12 stone 7.5. But I realised in that moment that I'm in a slippery slope if I go down that route of focus on the scales, focusing on the scales. So what I wanted to do was, from today going forward, is I'm going to weigh myself every day. Now, you might think that's counterintuitive, because if I'm weighing myself every day, am I going to become a bit obsessed with that number? No. What I'm going to do is weigh myself every day, make a note of my weight, and then I'm going to take an average of my weight for the week, because it's so hot and it's up and down at the moment. I could be retaining water. Obviously, I'm still going through having bits of period and stuff like that, because I'm now taking the Mounjaro, and I will document this. The coil that I was having has meant that my periods have started to return, not in the full flow horrendous cycle that was in before, but I am starting to have some period. So all of those changes mean that I can't just be obsessed with that number on the scales. I can't do it. I'm not going to do it to myself. It will not happen. So I'm calling time. And I know that Claire probably back in January would have got on the scales, would have seen that number, and would have been like, oh my God, I am now 12 stone 7. You know, I'd have been absolutely over the moon. But I'm not going to do that, because I don't want the scales to have that power over me. What I want and what I see for myself now I'm at this weight is I want to continue to lose another dress size. I want to be toned, I want to feel fit, I want to be able to go out and have no pain in my knees, if that's possible. I know I've got some damage on my knee, but if that's possible, to build the muscle around my knee. I want to focus on fitness, I want to focus on health, and I want to bring back fitness to help me with the situation around my dad possibly going into full-time care because his dementia is deteriorated. And it's an emotional time. It's a time when it's easy just to kind of get something quick. It's easy to just get a takeaway. There are the habits that I need to look at, because while I'm on Mounjaro, I'm fully aware that you can have full suppression. I'm also fully aware it's so easy just to have something that's not really nutritionally dense and still lose weight. I think that can be a trap to get into. But this is something that I want to work. I want it to work long term. I know that my protein is going to help me. It's going to help me, especially at the age that I'm at. And also with collagen, eating meats, proteins, and also with going to the gym and building muscle. I know that my body will receive the protein in a kinder way than having high processed carbs like pasta, refined sugars, you know, that you're going to get from breads and things like that. So that's what I want to do. I want to plan what I'm going to do, I suppose, in the idea that this is going to be something that's going to help me going forward on a constant and get into those healthier habits. There's lots of studies around habits and about how long it takes to change a habit. Now, obviously, as a hypnotherapist, we look at changing things really, really quickly. When it comes to habit in general, taking away the hypnosis, some people suggest that you need to be looking at doing something for about 6 months or a year. I've been on this since March. I'm now into July. I'm 50 in October, and I would love to be able to stand in my 50th day body at a size 14. Not only do I want to do that, I want to be able to maintain it when I get there as well. So I know that these are the things I need to move forward. What I've done actually is I've started to save videos around a protein-based meal. And I'm looking at the nutrition around that, and also, because time is of the essence, ways that I can eat that are going to like save me time and stuff and things like that. Now, since I decided to start my journey, I've also learned that Debbie, that was a guest on the podcast, if you want to go and find Debbie, you will find her at Debbie's World. I'm going to drop a link, and when I say I'm going to drop a link below to Debbie's YouTube channel, I need to make sure that the link's going to work, but I'll drop a link to Debbie's YouTube channel below. I've also started to interview guests around the Mounjaro journey, a couple of ladies that I've found over on TikTok. And when I interview these guests, I'm going to be dropping links, and I'll also share the video on my YouTube channel. So what I know that I will be doing in the future is I'll be doing some playlists on my YouTube channel, so you'll know exactly where to go, because I'll be sharing bits about the hypnosis, bits about Mounjaro, bits about the podcast. And I think that's it. We'll do things around cravings, things around Mounjaro, and things around the podcast. And I'm more than happy to, I suppose, big up anybody that is on a wonderfully positive journey around weight loss. Doesn't matter if it's Mounjaro or not. I see this as, especially as women, as getting into that good energy of looking after our bodies, eating the food that's going to serve us, that's going to help us, and moving more. And I think if we can do those things, then we can be happier in ourselves, more content. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know where you're at. I'd love to know if you're on, a jab, if you're still at Slimming World or Weight Watchers, calorie counting. Let me know about your calorie deficit and what you eat and what you find are good meals for you on plan. If you're moving more, what is it that you do? Do you like to go out for walks? Is it park run for you? I'd love to hear more about the people that follow me over on YouTube. So thank you so much. Thank you for coming over and listening and downloading this. And I will be updating you on how this goes next week. I can't believe I'm going away again. Can't believe before I go to Lanzarote. For now, take care.